To those who find reading challenging, I would like to remind you that, at times, a single book can entirely change the way we see the world. True reading is not merely the act of deciphering words, it is about stepping into a foreign world crafted by an author and experiencing new, meaningful encounters. Today, I'd like to introduce you to Snow Country, Yukiguni, a masterpiece by Yasunari Kawabata, a giant of Japanese literature and one of the recipients of the Nobel Prize for Literature. While this book might initially appear as a daunting classical read, its profound beauty and messages hold the power to deeply move and illuminate the hearts of readers. Snow Country is more than just a novel that tells a story. It is a precisely painted world of sensory and emotional depth, like an ink-wash painting. After finishing the novel, the quiet mountain village covered in snow, the sound of cold winds, the steam rising from hot springs, and the complex, subtle emotions of the characters will remain vivid in your mind, as though you had personally experienced them. So, let us step together into this beautiful and sorrowful tale. 1. The aesthetics of Japan, woven through Kawabata's sensual language. To better understand Snow Country, it is helpful to know a bit about Yasunari Kawabata himself. In 1968, he became the first Japanese to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature, elevating the global recognition of Japanese literature. Kawabata's writing is celebrated for its outstanding narrative techniques that express the essence of the Japanese mind. Rather than simply narrating stories, he maximizes the sensory power of language to leave deep impressions and lingering reflections on readers. Kawabata's literary world is deeply connected to his childhood experiences. Orphaned at birth and later losing his grandparents, he experienced early loneliness and loss. These formative experiences influenced the recurring themes in his work: the transient beauty of life, the boundaries between life and death, and the inherent solitude of human beings. He reinterprets the traditional Japanese aesthetic concepts of mono no aware, the poignant sensitivity to impermanence, and yugen, mysterious, profound beauty, through a modern lens, offering readers a new experience of aesthetic beauty. Snow Country exemplifies the essence of Kawabata's literary style. 2. A tale of fading love blossoming on a cold snowfield. At first glance, the plot of Snow Country may seem deceptively simple. It follows Shimamura, a man from Tokyo who visits a snowy hot spring village, and his relationships with the geisha Kamako and the enigmatic woman Yoko. However, this novel places more emphasis on the characters' inner psychologies and the vivid descriptions of their surroundings rather than on action-driven events. 1. Shimamura the Hollow Observer. The protagonist, Shimamura, is a man from the city who journeys to the remote, snow-covered hot spring village. He is accustomed to observing and analyzing rather than immersing himself deeply in anything. His profession as an art critic reflects this tendency. While he critiques Western dance, he has never personally danced, a metaphor for his detached attitude toward life. Even as he watches Kamako, he remains emotionally distant, merely appreciating her beauty rather than connecting with her passion or pain. His gaze is always cold, and his heart carries an inexplicable emptiness. 2. Kamako, a passionate flame, yet fleeting. Kamako, the geisha of the snowy village, is a character full of life and purity. Unlike Shimamura, she is deeply passionate and devoted to self-improvement, studying literature, keeping a diary, and learning the shamisen, a traditional Japanese musical instrument. Her love for Shimamura is as fierce as a red camellia blooming in the snow. However, her passion is repeatedly wounded by Shimamura's coldness and the limits of their relationship. Her life is as fragile as a flickering candle, delicate yet radiant with beauty. 3. Yoko, the transcendent beauty, cold as ice. Yoko first appears in the novel as the mysterious woman whose gaze is reflected in the window of the train where Shimamura is traveling. She possesses a different kind of beauty than Kamako, transcendent and ethereal. While Kamako embodies human passion and suffering, Yoko exudes an otherworldly, transparent grace. She dedicates herself to caring for the villagers and possesses a pure, untouched soul, like the pristine snow of the mountain village. Her presence introduces an enigmatic tension to the story, blurring the boundaries between life and death. 4. the setting of Snow Country a character in its own right. The village of Snow Country is not merely a backdrop but holds profound symbolic meaning. This isolated village, perpetually blanketed in snow, represents purity and beauty, as well as hardship and impermanence. Snow covers everything in silence and cleanliness but also freezes all movement, leaving life in a state of suspension. The cold and stillness of the snowy landscape vividly contrasts Shimamura's emotional detachment, Kamako's passionate intensity, and Yoko's enigmatic beauty, heightening the novel's poetic atmosphere. 3. Core themes and insights of Snow Country. While Snow Country is a beautiful poetic work, it also contains profound insights and reflections that can help us understand life and the world. Even those less experienced with reading may find meaningful seeds of thought in this book. 1. The transience of beauty and the momentary aesthetics, the value of the present moment. One of the central themes in Snow Country is the fleeting beauty of life. Kawabata meticulously captures brief yet radiant moments of beauty in the novel, the fleeting image of Yoko's gaze reflected in the train window as the snow falls, the snowfall itself, and the red blush on Kamako's face. These moments are ephemeral, which makes them all the more touching and powerful. Inside in our busy lives, we often overlook the beauty around us. This novel gently reminds us to discover and cherish the small, vanishing moments in life, a falling petal, a setting sun, a loved one's smile, or a warm cup of tea. Precisely because life is not eternal, these moments enrich our lives. 2. The disconnection and emptiness in human relationships. What is genuine connection? The relationship between Shimamura and Kamako illustrates two people gazing at each other from different perspectives. Kamako earnestly seeks connection with Shimamura, but he remains emotionally distant, observing her passion from afar. He avoids deep engagement, hides his feelings, and ultimately becomes an indifferent, inactive presence in her life. This emotional disconnect evokes a profound sense of loneliness and emptiness. Inside Snow Country challenges us to reflect on the meaning of genuine human relationships. Are we truly empathizing with others' feelings? Or are we like Shimamura, merely observing or closing ourselves off emotionally? This novel paradoxically highlights the loneliness caused by the absence of communication and reminds us of the preciousness of true connection. 3. The boundary between life and death, and the meaning of existence, finding value in a finite life. Yoko's presence in the novel brings a mysterious sense of movement between life and death. Her ethereal and surreal beauty embodies both the finitude of life and the shadow of death. Particularly, Yoko's tragic death in the novel intensifies the themes of life's impermanence and futility. Yet, her death does not vanish, it lingers in the white snow, leaving a strong, unforgettable image. Inside life and death are the most fundamental questions all humans face. Snow Country urges us to acknowledge the finite nature of life and to ask what meaning or value we can find within it. It reveals a paradoxical truth: because death exists, every moment of life becomes even more precious. Even amid impermanence, the novel offers hope in discovering eternal beauty. 4. The comfort and insight gained from nature, finding peace in stillness. The snowy natural setting is not just a backdrop. The unceasing snowfall, cold winds, quiet mountains, and stars in the night sky reflect the characters' emotions and silently witness their lives. Scenes where Shimamura gazes at the snowy landscape through the train window remind us that nature can soothe and calm complex human emotions. Inside, we often become so immersed in the noise and haste of city life that we forget to connect with nature. Snow Country invites us to pause, listen to the sounds of nature, and open our eyes to its beauty. Nature offers us peace and clarity, helping us organize our thoughts and gain new insights and comfort in life. 5. Experiencing Japanese aesthetic awareness, expanding cultural sensitivity. Yasunari Kawabata's Snow Country is one of the finest literary works that modernize the traditional Japanese aesthetic concepts of mono no aware and yugen. Mono no aware refers to the poignant sensitivity to impermanence and the blend of sadness and beauty in things, while yugen evokes a deep, mysterious, and subtle beauty beyond the visible. The novel's meticulous descriptions and restrained emotional expressions fully embody these aesthetic principles. insight. This book allows readers to experience the unique cultural sensitivity and aesthetics of Japanese culture. Understanding the artistic and philosophical traditions of different cultures broadens our perspectives and enhances our ability to appreciate life in a more profound way. Through unfamiliar forms of beauty, we can expand our understanding of the concept of beauty itself. 4. How to read Snow Country. Suggestions for reading. For those who are not familiar with reading, Snow Country may initially feel somewhat challenging. This is because it emphasizes subtle descriptions and inner psychological depth over fast-paced plots or thrilling events. However, by following a few tips, you can read this book in a way that enhances your experience. 1. Read slowly and savor it like fine wine. This is a novel that requires a slow, savoring approach, like sipping wine. Don't rush. Take the time to feel the scenery descriptions and sensory expressions that Kawabata carefully embeds in each sentence. Engage your imagination to envision how the snow falls, how the steam from the hot springs rises, and what Kamako's expressions look like. This will help you deeply immerse yourself in the story. 2. Focus on feelings rather than the plot. Snow Country is best read by concentrating on the atmosphere the author creates, the characters' emotions, and the unique feelings of the snowy world. If there are parts you find difficult to understand, don't worry. Simply allowing yourself to feel the emotional journey within the sensory world offered by the author is enough. 3. Reread the novel. When reading for the first time, focus on sensing the overall atmosphere. On subsequent readings, you may discover subtle expressions and hidden psychological nuances you previously missed. Revisiting the novel later in life may even yield new realizations. 4. Connect the novel to nature. As you read Snow Country, develop a habit of paying closer attention to the natural world around you. The sound of the wind, the rustling of leaves, and the shapes of clouds that you usually overlook may suddenly appear in a new light. This book awakens our innate ability to connect with nature. 5. Conclusion. Snow Country, a key opening the door to reading. Although Snow Country is set in a remote, snowy mountain village in Japan, the profound questions it explores, loneliness, love, beauty, and the boundary between life and death, are universal themes that transcend time and culture, resonating deeply with everyone. I firmly believe that even those who have not previously been interested in reading may discover a new experience and emotional depth through this book. Our world is fast-paced and overflowing with information, but at times, we need to pause and immerse ourselves in the profound world of a single book. Snow Country offers precisely such an experience. This novel will teach us to see the world more slowly, more deeply, and more beautifully. Just as Shimamura glimpsed the dreamlike scene of Kamako's eyes reflected in the snowy landscape from the train window, I hope you discover through Snow Country a new world of profound sensations and insights. It will be a precious time for you to rediscover the warmth within your own heart amidst the cold beauty of the snowy landscape. Open this book now and embark on a journey through the fleeting, beautiful story unfolding on a white snowfield.